What's up, guys? We're back at the studio. Welcome back to the HeleyCast. Today we have a special guest, but before I get to that, let me explain to you about this promotional deal that we have that started probably last Wednesday, I believe. We are promoting Caroline Spice, a bottle of it, and we're giving it away on February 27th. You guys, if you want to enter this contest, go ahead and go like all three social medias. Instagram is forgot my Heelys. You have Twitter, which is the HeleyCast, and then Facebook, which is Heeley the Comedian. Go like all those, and then also if you want to better your chances at this, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube to the HeleyCast. Also, give us a listen; it helps us out all the time. One more thing. We will release the winner or announce the winner on all three social media platforms on February 27th at 12 p.m. So if you want to enter, those are your chances. The whole get up with it is email TheHeleyCast@yahoo.com. Send in a simple, funny joke, and we'll select one of you guys. It's also free shipping. I'll pay for the shipping. I don't care. You guys, if you live out of state, that's fine. I'll still ship it to you guys for free. We won't charge you because that's unfair, guys. That's not fair. Back at this, our podcast. This episode is a very interesting episode. I loved this conversation. The conversation was amazing with Lynne Farmer. She's a novelist, a mother. She writes poems. She's a great wife. She decided to come on to the podcast today and just, amaze me. And I think she's put some hope back into my life. I really do. And she explained religion to me and just helped me out with figuring out really where I need to go with things, guys. So I hope you enjoy, guys. Lynne Farmer.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it 100%. This is
welcome.
awesome. I guess let's dive into it with you're a writer.
Yes.
How did you even get into writing?
Excuse me. Well, I started when I was 8, just doing little, kind of copying children's books and then doing the illustrations for them.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Allergies. Let me get a drink.
Perfectly fine.
When I was about 12, 13, I seriously started writing. So I started
12 or 13?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, about probably 8th grade, 13. I started doing poems, mainly just with that. And then also, mainly poems, a little bit of essays, short
Now you did
stories.
that when you were in school as well. Did you win any awards when you were doing poems, or?
No, I didn't try to actually get published that until maybe I was late teens.
Okay.
Started kind of trying to get.
Because I know, like in elementary school, junior high, high school, they usually have like awards for the best poem or whatnot, and I wasn't sure if you ever put your name into that bucket or not.
No, I didn't actually get that. I was at went to a Christian high school later, not right away, but later on, and they used one of my short stories for a play, so that was pretty cool.
For a play? Really?
Yeah, it was a play that they put on, and I wrote a little short story, and they used it. So
wow, that's really
fantastic.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the viewers and the listeners a little about yourself before you got published? Like, what were you doing beforehand?
Before, I've just been a early Head Start teacher. I work at Stillwater Head Start 0 to 5.
Okay.
I've been there now 11 and a half years. And just really love teaching the kids. I work with 0 to 3 age groups. So.
Wow.
So I love children.
Yeah,
so,
it sounds like you really do love children.
I really do love kids, yeah. And I've been in childcare for probably 14, 15 years altogether.
Wow.
So
before you you've been writing basically all your life.
Yeah, I just
And
write off and on.
what made you want to get published? Like, was that the whole plan from the get-go, or did you just want to write?
No, well, I just love to write. I love words. I love writing. So that was the initial thing. I did want to get published when I was in my teens, and I tried. I did get a poem published, but it was one of those ones where you have to pay. It's a big anthology, one of many poems, and you have to pay to buy it.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing. So it wasn't really, and I never did get out there. And then kind of life happened. I got married. I started having kids. So.
Dean over here.
Yeah, there's my my.
How many children do you have, just out of curiosity?
I have Erin. She'll be 30 pretty soon, and our daughter, our oldest, and then Dean. He's 25.
25.
And our youngest, Jacob, is 18.
Thank you, Malachi. And so you have a youngest that's 18. Is he out of the house? Graduated?
Yes, he just graduated last year.
Stillwater?
Yeah, Stillwater High School. And he's now moved out, so we're empty nesters now.
Oh, wow.
But for 30 years, we've had kids.
That's crazy. How are you reacting to being an empty nester now? Like, you enjoying it, or you?
Yeah, it's nice in some ways because it's just the two of us,
right?
My husband and I.
Starting to learn each other again and fall back in love or whatnot. Because
yeah.
Well, I've learned from a lot of people, like when you have kids and everything gets caught up, you get jobs and you kind of like. You're just partners at that point, getting through life. And then once everyone leaves, the empty nest, you guys kind of rekindle love and basically rediscover each other. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what that will be nice to have more. I
mean, Dean, get out.
Yeah, I know our youngest wasn't around much anyway before because he'd just see him like, oh, we see him passing. Hi, but yeah, it is nice. It'll be nice to. Have that time, and I mean, of course, we miss our youngest son being there, but he comes and visits.
Well, everyone lives close, right? Or in the state, somewhat.
Well, of course, Dean's in Stillwater. Jacob still lives in Stillwater. Erin, our daughter, lives in Salem, Oregon, with her husband. So
let me retract that. Not everyone lives in Oklahoma.
Far away.
Wow.
But.
And how are they doing in Oregon? Just what things are going on. I don't want to get too political, but are they doing okay up there?
Yeah, they're doing well. She's a psych tech. She works in Portland, actually.
Oh.
So yeah, she has to drive there.
So I had to ask. Yeah.
So she drives there and back most every day, and then her husband Patrick, our son-in-law, he's a teacher in Salem.
Okay.
He's a science.
Now Salem,
middle school.
That's Eugene is the University of Oregon.
Right.
Is Salem? No, Corvallis is Oregon State University.
Yeah, I think Corvallis. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to say Salem was gonna be Oregon State, but no, I think Corvallis is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful state.
It is. I've been there. It's gorgeous. Well, we've all been there now, except for my husband. So.
What had stopped him from going?
Well, just we haven't got to go all at once. We've always flown there alone.
It's expensive to fly, and absolutely.
We'd like to eventually. We need to drive up there, and we love camping, so eventually we want to.
That is a perfect place to go camping up there.
Yeah.
Like you got the West Coast, so you can find places to camp on the coast, or you can go into the state itself and discover a lot. I've been there.
Yeah.
I lived up in Seattle, Washington for like 6 years before I came here.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, both areas kind of on the rocks right now, but other than that, it's very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. So, getting back to you getting published, how do you go about getting published?
Well, I just did a lot during when I was off work last year from probably about March to
because of
July,
COVID. Because of COVID-19.
Yes, Stillwater Head Start wasn't in session. And we were still working, but working from home. So I was able to have a lot of time to do a lot of research into specifically like Christian kind of magazines and look up Christian writing groups on Facebook and that kind of thing. So I was trying to get, in with other Christian writers. And so that's kind of what I was able to do a lot of that research. So look up what kind of magazines would probably be able to take my publications, what I've.
So you wanted to do the research before you did or tried to publish. Like you want to know what magazines or what things you could get published in that you were that your work would fit.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what you need to do. You always have to get on the magazine. If it's a magazine or a publisher for a book, you have to look on there and read past submissions that they've done, like issues. You read them and see what, if it'll fit. What your writings will fit that.
So you tried to fit them more or less.
Well, I didn't go by like my writings to fit it. I just, not necessarily, but I wanted to make sure that it would work. Plus, I always looked at, mainly the main thing was Christians writing publications, because my writings are geared toward that.
Right.
So now with the short story about my older brother Scott, that one was, I was on a critique group, on a writing Facebook group, Christian group, and we each had a critique partner. Like I had 2 other people, and that's how I kind of worked through that, and that's how I started that story.
And is that story published at all, or is that just for family and friends?
The Depths is the one that I got published.
Okay.
But then I also have a longer version called my
best friend and hero, or best friend. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. So that's the one. I sent the shorter version because I wasn't sure, because of the word count, if it would get published, because they want a certain word count.
Got you. And where are these available? Like what magazine or?
No, that From the Depths is in the Heart of Flesh literary magazine.
Okay.
And you can go online and read it. It's free. And also they have now they have one where you can buy the book. On the last issue, and that was in November. So, which I did. And then I gave one to my mom, so she was really excited.
That's awesome. So you got your own book, or is it a book with your story in it? Okay, okay, it's a book of the issue.
Yeah,
okay, got you.
Poems. They have fiction, nonfiction.
They got other authors and everything in there. Okay,
exactly, and also art, because they do art. So if anyone's an artist,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
So you brought up you write Christian works. You're a Christian.
Yes.
From just assuming, but you can't assume in these days. Right. So you're a Christian. What started? I mean, probably family, right? Making you a Christian. Like, where did it start? I guess
it started when I was about 8 years old. I actually grew up in Stillwater.
So you went to Stillwater High School and all that?
Yeah, for sure.
Holy cow!
I grew up in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah, different building. Yeah.
Many years ago.
So you were in the community center? Is that where the old high school was? Where was the old high school?
I went to the high school that's here.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, the community center. I went to 7th grade.
Was that the middle school or something like that?
Yes, that was the middle school.
So much has changed around here now.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. We moved here in the end of '76. So in '77, I started my 2nd grade year. Where'd
you move from? Where are you from originally? Are you from Oklahoma?
Well, yeah, Muskogee, and then before that, I was born in Tennessee. So we moved from Tennessee to Muskogee, and then Muskogee to Stillwater when I was 7.
Okay. And what brought your parents to Stillwater, out of curiosity? The university?
No, it was just my job. My dad got a job as a manager of the circulation for the Stillwater News Press.
Okay. That's the first time. Usually most people are like, I came here because my parents work for the university. Or that's what brings everyone in here. So I figured that's the answer I was going to get, but he did the circulation for the newspaper.
Yeah, he managed the...
so that probably helped you get into writing as well, because he was doing that, right?
Well... No, not really. I just... no, sorry.
Okay, well, there's me assuming again. But.
No, you're good. No, that didn't. But he was there. I mean, I can even show you. I don't remember where that... But it was a building on... Main Street, and it was not far from where the old theater is. And my brother and I, we would actually be at his work and go across the street and go down to the theater and watch movies at the old theater, which is the furniture store now.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Now, so I got sidetracked on that whole.
Yeah.
During these dark times, you're a woman of God. Do you think we're in the days of Revelations?
In the day of Revelation?
Yeah. Just with everything's happening and whatnot, do you think the end times are near?
Right. Well, it's looking like it could be, but I mean, I would not.
I feel like it's happened multiple times. Like World War II, people have been saying it's the end of times too. But
they've been saying that even when I was a kid. They were saying that in the 70s. I mean, there was books put out, and my dad had some of the books, and I look at them, and so yeah, they've been saying that for years and years. But it could and it couldn't. I mean, there are signs like wars and rumors of wars and whatever. But,
like things that are mentioned in Revelations are somewhat kind of coming to premise, but not really at the same time. Like I read like Nostradamus and his future predictions, and he talks about how there will be like a great war, and it's very interesting, very eye-opening as well, because he talks about 2 towers will fall in the west, which were technically the Twin Towers, if you descript it that way. You can kind of twist his words into basically anything you want it to be, though. That's the problem with that. Like, once 9/11 happened, everyone's like, oh, he predicted that. But literally all he said was 2 towers will fall in the west. That's all he said. He didn't say much else other than that. Yeah, we're in the west, and 2 towers did fall. It's kind of convenient. Not convenient. What's the word I'm looking for, Malachi?
It's just
coincidental.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and that's actually a book my dad had, was Nostradamus.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's looking like, it could be, but I mean, I don't know.
Hopefully it's not.
Yeah, hopefully not. And no one knows the time, and that's what it says in the Bible. No one will know the time. And I mean, Jesus gave us signs, yes, but so.
Right.
But yes, it is possible.
How are you dealing with COVID-19? Like, COVID-19's been with us for now a year. The first case was January 20th of 2020 in the state of Washington. So we've surpassed that, obviously, and we're here. How have you been dealing with it? Are you still doing what you're doing? Or, before COVID, obviously we were allowed out and do everything. Oklahoma hasn't really had much restrictions like Western or East Coast states, but did you change anything in your life for COVID-19?
Like I mentioned earlier, I was out of work, or still working, but not going to the physical building, and we didn't have children there. But just pretty much just trying to stay at home as much as possible. I mean, we were already doing, we did Walmart pickups. We were already doing that even before this happened, and we're still doing that. We just we try to avoid going to the inside stores because my husband has COPD and high blood pressure.
What's COPD?
It's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He's kind of like
he's a high risk. He's a high risk. I got you.
Yeah, start of emphysema, so that's what he has, and high blood pressure, so that's 2 risk factors.
Yeah,
so.
Understandable.
So that's kind of, I don't have any, but he does, so that's what we're trying to be careful.
Yeah, if you catch it, you bring it home to him. Whatnot. I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you always gotta be cautious about all that kind of stuff. So I get it.
Exactly. So, and of course at work we always have to wear masks, and there's that they do to help keep us safe and children and families. So.
I have no idea what's going on in the school systems. Like, Dean, real quick, you're a school driver for Stillwater High School, right? Or Stillwater? Did they do anything different for the buses themselves, like separation glass or whatnot?
Not really, just masks.
They mask mandate
and sanitizing the buses.
Okay, I wasn't.
And kids have to wear.
Because I know certain areas schools in certain states have glass boxes basically at their desk, and they sit in this glass box so they can't breathe on each other, and they're 6 feet apart and stuff. So I wasn't sure if they kind of did a glass box for those seats or whatnot. I mean, that's a lot of money to put into it, but I don't know if it helps either. So you never know, because you sit next to a kid that needs to sit down, and he may have COVID or something, and you're trapped in a box with him, and I'm
Yeah.
not okay with that.
Yeah, and you never know.
Right,
That's
so
true.
I guess masks are better than anything, right? I have no idea. I just
Yeah, mean,
obey the laws and try to work it out,
yeah. And right now our center we haven't had an outbreak, so we've been good.
Yeah, we really haven't. Like, everyone says Oklahoma has been the worst. We're like the third worst state for COVID-19. Florida's number one, and I can't remember. Like, Texas is number two, and then Oklahoma is supposed to be like the third with the highest outbreaks. So it's like California's worse than us. Like, that's population wise. You know,
Right.
population. We don't have a lot of people here, so
Yeah.
for Oklahoma, I'm sure it is pretty high for Oklahoma, like the population or whatnot. But compared to California, we're nowhere close to, what they have.
Right.
Why religion? Why did you write about religion? Just because that's what you know, or like?
Well, it's kind of get back to why I started. When I was 8, my parents weren't in the church yet. They hadn't established going to a church yet. So me and my older brother Scott, we went to the bus to Bible Baptist Church.
Okay.
In fact, which they still do, and that's where we got saved. So we became born again Christians.
Your story, yes,
Yes.
I remember reading that you went to a camp, right?
Well, it was at Bible Baptist Church actually, and
Okay.
Sunday school. We went to Sunday school there. It was just the Sunday school part, and then
And he was older than you, so you guys weren't necessarily together
Right.
in the same class, but you guys still walked hand in hand to God.
yeah,
right, yeah.
exactly.
You learned about God with your older brother.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I think just everything that's happened in my life, and I've had to trust God and lean into Him for help and everything. All the difficult things that have happened to me. So that's why I do that. It's only through Him that I've been able to survive what's happened to me.
So I'm not trying to dig in too deep about what's happened to you. Can you give me an example of what's happened? That I kind of want after you do tell me what happened to you, like why did you continue with God? Like after that speed bump, why you kept on keeping your faith? Because I've had speed bumps in my life, and I mentioned to you before we came on here that I'm more of a spiritual person because like my family has always been God is good, God is great, all this, and they pounded God into me, and I eventually turned old enough to kind of look out and look at all these other religions, and I've noticed all these religions basically come back to one base. They have one God at least, or they pray to a God. And with me, spiritual wise, instead of saying God or Allah or Muhammad or, whoever they worship, there's just a higher being. I don't think we need to label that higher being. That's just my opinion, and I think that's what's wrong with the world, because a lot of these wars are based off of religion as well. It's a lot of religion wars, and if we didn't have, Allah or God or, the word itself, maybe it would be better. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers or anything, but, like, that's my point of view on that. But
Right.
Yeah.
And I can see where you're coming from in that. Because, yeah, definitely. So, yeah. Especially with the Jewish state. And
right, like
Yeah.
a lot happened with like the Jews, and it's all like the Holocaust was a religious purge, and like instead of having just one God, or I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but labeling God, just say I believe in a higher power, I don't think we would have many issues as long as you believe in a higher power.
yeah. Right.
I believe probably 98% of the world believes in a higher power.
Yeah, and then when they've done surveys, they've found that out, like in even the United States. So,
Right.
Yeah, that they do. But yeah, for me, it's been Christianity, of course, because it was only through,
Right.
only believe through Jesus
Right.
can you be saved, because He's the one that died and was resurrected.
Correct.
And so that hasn't happened with any other religion, so just Jesus. So
That's true.
Yeah.
So can you share something
that's happened.
that's
to me.
happened, and
Yeah.
that why you kept your faith?
Yeah, I've had some pretty major stuff that's happened to me. Well, I'll say one in high school, it was pretty traumatic. I actually went through a period of Great Depression. So, and had to be taken out of, it was in my sophomore year, and I was doing really bad in my first, it's when they changed from, we go to the junior high to you go to the high school here.
Okay.
And so the big transition for that just really messed me up.
It is a big transition.
Yeah, and also because I had learning difficulties, which I didn't realize exactly, but I had auditory processing disorder. So I was only hearing every other word spoken to me. So
Really? Okay.
I had that too. So when I went there, I had a hard time just adjusting to the classes.
But you had friends, right? Like your friends
Yeah.
came over. Like I remember Dean. Regardless, Dean graduated with me, and we
Right.
weren't friends. No, it's kidding. We were friends. We were
Right.
we were teammates and everything. Like from junior high, we turned over into our sophomore year of high school. You still played football at least that sophomore year, right?
Sophomore. Well, I don't think sophomore. It was junior and then half of senior.
Okay, yeah, but I remember at least like you
Yeah.
you have friends that cross over with you. So I'm just
Yeah, exactly.
curious.
And I had my small group, not large, but small
Right.
group of girlfriends that was with me. But yeah,
Just
but
the shock of
it was kind of just the shock. Plus, being in you don't have them in every class, obviously.
right.
Plus, something happened with one of my really good friends that she kind of turned on me and betrayed me, and it just made it
High school
worse.
drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you,
exactly.
yeah,
And
no.
it just went just a spiral, and yeah, and I was having trouble in the classes too. So I just eventually my parents took me out and just put me into a private Christian school. So
And I was going to ask what kept your faith there, but I guess going into that Christian school really helped you keep your faith, right?
yes,
Right.
that really helped. There was a lady there, the administrator, and she's also a teacher, Yolanda McEwen. And family still lives here.
Shout out to her and her family.
Yeah, Gary and Yolanda McEwen, and she really helped me. She helped me get through it because I was actually depressed, and had to go to doctors and everything for it because, it was that bad.
Now that was back in what, the 80s, 90s,
Yeah, that
when
was
you're
like
in
the mid '80s that happened. So,
and
yeah.
I guess was depression diagnosed back then? Like
Oh.
not as well as it is now, but did they diagnose depression as a what's the word I'm thinking of? A medical issue or whatnot that they do now. They say it's a
Right.
medical issue now. I'm not sure how they treated it back then.
Well, as far as I know, they did. I was 15, so, but they didn't want to put me on medication. They just wanted.
I feel like it's too soon for a child to be on medication. Maybe once you're 20, 21, I say you're probably too early at 18 to even do medication. I think this is gonna sound bad, but like once you have the capability of drinking, like
Right.
the age of drinking consent, and you're already past, you can smoke at that point. Well, nowadays you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes, but back in your day, just my thought process is you should probably wait till you're almost fully developed as an adult and then consider doing medication.
Right.
But you shouldn't be forcing it on a child that
Yeah.
doesn't really know what's going on in the first place,
Right,
that
right.
doesn't comprehend everything yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And even at 21, you don't necessarily know what's going on, but you can understand that the medication is good for you and it's going to help you. Being a 15-year-old, yeah, your parents could be like, yeah, this is going to be good for you, but what are the long effects of it? Like it could really damage you, or it might be able to help you. I don't know. It's just a or flip of the coin at that point. Yeah.
Right. Well, the doctor recommended to my mom that they don't do the medication because just get the therapy, and obviously they had to rule out any health issues. So first of all, they had to rule out any health things that was going on. I actually did have a spastic stomach because of the stress. It would spasm out.
At least you didn't have ulcers, or
I didn't
right.
have any ulcers. But
Because I know when people
I
get
did have
stressed and
that.
everything, get ulcers or whatnot.
So yes, I did have that, but yeah, that's kind of where I was at. So I went through a period of at least 2 years probably, yeah, at least 2 years where it was pretty, up and down bad. It was, I was depressed.
Right.
But yeah, the lady Yolanda McEwen and her prayers and just leaning
being
into
there
God.
for you
Yeah,
really
just
helped
being there
you.
for me and getting the support and having faith that God will get me through that.
I was just about to ask
helped
you, while we're on this depression, this subject of depression,
Right.
2020 and 2021 already have been rough for everyone. I have a joke. I'm a comedian. I have a joke that's just kind of like, it's really a question for for the fans or the people out there, and I'm just like, are we still all depressed? Because I've been depressed since this COVID thing has happened. Like, it's not fun. It's just like I haven't been able to go do anything, And how did you get out of the depression for you? Like,
Right.
did you go do and distract yourself, or was it more your mentor helping you, or?
Well, my mentor really helped me in that, and then we had a small class size at the high school that I was in. It was very small,
Mm-hmm.
And
So it could be more personal and
yeah, it's more
help.
personal, and that really helped me too, of course. And because it was a Christian school, of course, they did chapel every morning, so you get that connection and
Oh yeah, you do chapel every morning.
yeah, and it was very slow. Obviously, it wasn't just overnight. I mean, because it was bad. And then of course I went to my therapist and
Therapy's always good.
And,
Like I don't know why people
did
throw
that.
shade on therapy, but it's a good thing to do. Like no matter what, if you can't talk to anyone, therapy's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that did really help too, for sure. But yes, it took quite a while. Yeah. Very.
But
rough
it took
time.
it took a while and took a lot of help from family, friends, and your therapist,
and my family, of course, were there for me.
very
and,
supportive, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, just let you know, because I mentioned the auditory processing disorder, they had a program. Another teacher, and Yolanda, who's also a teacher and principal there, they had went through this. It was called the Discovery Program at that time, but it helps to. They learned how to help children integrate the right and left brain,
Okay.
help them with their auditory processing disorder. So I went.
So that's
through,
what.
Yes. So I also
Wow.
went through
Because the auditory, if I'm saying it right,
auditory. Yeah.
Auditory. What was the
Processing disorder.
So that's the one where like I was going, and
Yeah.
you only hear every
Yeah.
other or select words or
Well,
whatnot.
it depends on the person, but for me, it was every other word. So
Really?
it's like your hearing is fine, but it's just like it's connecting to your brain. It's not completely connecting.
Really? So you still hear it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how to even if I'm explaining this correctly. But
That's
yes,
interesting.
It's yeah.
Malachi,
It's
could you
different.
look that up and just give us a brief description of it real quick? I'm really interested in that. That's kind of, I've never heard of it, so this is the
Yeah.
first time, and that's just fascinating.
What was the name to it?
Auditory,
Processing disorder?
just give us a brief little summary of it, if you can find one.
Oh, wow. A disorder affecting the ability to understand speech. Currently, there's no known definite cause of auditory processing disorder. It may be linked to ear infections, premature birth, or head trauma. Symptoms include difficulty understanding speech in noisy environments, following directions, and distinguishing between similar sounds. Treatments may include environmental modifications, such as use of listening devices and working with a therapist.
Interesting. And you did
No, I did that. I did the Discovery Program is what they had went to. They went to and were trained on how to help people with that, children, and I just went through like therapies.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
more therapy.
I did
right?
therapies, and by the end of it, I was able to like they could repeat a long sentence and I could repeat it back, and that's how that happened.
That's
But
interesting. So they give you a sentence and you just go over and over it until
and
you
I
can.
could well, at the end when they to be tested, they would say a long sentence and I could repeat it back. But the part of the therapy itself was like doing the horizontal figure eights, and you have to say
Okay.
when you go to the left, you go left down, right
Left
down,
down.
you know, and
Okay.
that's part of it. But it was other things too, I'm sure. But that's been so long, I don't remember.
I understand. That's still a fascinating. I don't want to call it a disorder, but like it's an interesting issue. I'm trying to tread lightly, but
Well, yeah.
that's an interesting thing, and that's amazing that you've overcome it too.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Right?
that,
You're not hearing every.
No.
Okay.
No.
Not during the podcast.
There you go. No, I'm not now.
That's good.
It's good. So I'm sure that helped a lot too, because
It might help when Dean talks to you. You don't need to hear every word he says.
Right.
I'm a comedian, man. I'm getting poked fun at you. Getting back to your writing and everything, do you plan on writing an actual novel?
Yes, I do. I've looked at young adult novels, writing for that age.
And they're going to be still Christian oriented?
Yes, I've kind of one of my mentor and heroes is C.S. Lewis.
I was going to say, are you going to be the next J.K. Rowling? Where are we looking here?
Yeah, exactly. I love C.S. Lewis, the fantasy.
He was the one that wrote Series of Unfortunate Events? Or no, that's Lemony Snicket. My bad. C.S. Lewis was
The Witch in the Wardrobe and all those. Yeah, the series of books.
So many authors out there. There's J.K. Rowling, C.S. Lewis, George R.R. Martin, all those like
Tolkien. Yeah, which I love Tolkien too. So
I was actually so that's going into my next thing.
Yeah.
So like you say you want to write a novel. One of my questions is so like would you ever write a novel about Middle Earth or like just like wizards or anything? Or are you trying to stay Christian oriented?
Well, it'd be Christian oriented, but I mean,
you have Christian wizards.
But there you go. I would definitely do. I would be open.
You have an imagination and everything?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could see my dreams.
Guys, we're looking at the next J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, if people could see my dreams, they'd be like, oh my goodness. This person.
It's good to have dreams, though. You always have to have dreams. Set yourself above everyone else, and you do it, You're doing it right now, doing this novel and coming onto the podcast, getting your name out.
Right.
This is the start, so it's definitely... novel. You want to write a novel? Like, what? All right. I asked you what inspired you about writing. Let's kind of dig into this. Scott, your brother.
Right.
He influenced you a lot with Christianity or helped you walk towards God and everything. You both walked towards God together.
Right.
Did he help you writing-wise, too? Like, did he encourage you with this and...
With writing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he, I don't remember a specific time, but I know that he did. I just don't remember a specific time. And of course, my parents did, obviously, but yeah, he definitely did.
And if you don't mind me asking, he's no longer here.
Right.
What happened?
Yeah, he was killed in action in Afghanistan, June 3rd, 2008.
Thank you guys for his service. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And that, of course, was another traumatic experience.
That is. And let's go back. Let's go back. What made you stay with God after that too?
I mean, yeah, I questioned God on why it happened, because I guess I was very foolish to think this, but I was thinking, well, I thought before, I know he's going over there, and he had 2 other tours. He did one in Iraq and also Africa before that. But thought, well, he's a Christian, and he's also trying to do good work over there for the local Afghan people, and, that he would be safe from harm because of that. But obviously that didn't happen, so, but, I foolishly probably thought that, but, I guess, God had other plans, so.
What exactly was it? An attack or what exactly?
It was an IED. They were in the Humvee, and he was in the passenger seat. He was a major in the Civil Affairs Department, but he could have been, of course, in the back. But he always wanted to be in the front. And my sister-in-law, his wife Daphne, told us that he also liked to be able to set the music. he, yeah, he loved his heavy metal, hard rock, 80s music. So
That explains a lot about Dean. Dean, every time Dean was, I have a class with him or something, he'd come in with like a military shirt, and I'm like, "What's up with your military stuff, man?" He's like, "I'm gonna join the military one day." I'm like, "All right, good for you." Why? He's like, "My uncle was in the military." It's like, okay,
yeah,
I didn't know about your uncle until like now. So, but that's really cool. Like that explains why you wanted to do it. Like so, like really, guys,
for
thank you
sure.
for your guys' service. It's not just him doing his service, but you guys also did your service too. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to have someone go over there and defending, our country, our rights, and if they don't come back, it's definitely difficult for that family. So thank
Yeah.
you from the
you're-
bottom of Malachi and I's heart. Thank you guys.
You're
Seriously,
welcome.
I appreciate that. That's tough to talk about too, and I appreciate you talking about it. Like
Yeah.
I don't mean to bring up like too bad of memories, but like
No, I mean it's gotten easier. I mean they do say time helps, and it has helped, but it is hard. It's like my life almost stopped at that. I still remember the age I was. It's like it almost stopped there.
right,
Yeah, I was like 38, almost 39 when it happened, and it kind of
the world froze for you for
yeah,
a second.
it
I
pretty
get it.
much did because we were just so close. So
What made him join the military? Do you know that at all? Just kind of digging a little more into him.
Like with me with writing as a young kid, him a young kid too. He always wanted to be in the military.
Really?
Yeah, he always wanted to be it since he was
So
a little
he
since
knew
was
what
a
he wanted to
boy.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he always wanted to be with it. We would play soldiers with his friends.
Right.
And me
What
outside.
what little boy doesn't play soldiers, right, Dean?
So we would do that, but yeah, he always wanted to do that. So
It's incredible because like a lot of my friends that I played war with aren't in the military. Like they're doing business or something else, and
yeah,
it's just interesting that your brother played war when he was a child and
yeah,
did war as an adult. So
yeah.
and he did 3 tours, I guess.
Yeah, he had one in 2004 in Iraq. He was there at the embassy, and then in 2006 in Africa, Djibouti,
Okay.
and then in 2008
08.
in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did he sign up for the military
Yeah.
before 9/11 then?
Yes, he was
Okay.
already in. He graduated from Stillwater High School and went to OSU here and graduated from OSU also. But he went into boot camp I guess it was the fall, the Christmas time before
Right.
he graduated high school, and he graduated high school in 1984.
Okay.
So then he went after high school. He went full
So
time.
from 85 until
Yeah.
08.
Well, he was in full time service with the military army. He got out, and he went also to RL2C through OSU.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
but I mean, he did get out for a period of time. I forget when in the 90s.
So about to say that's almost
Yeah, because he was
20 years of
Yeah.
service there.
because he was and then he just went into the reserves, but.
And circling back to you went to college, I would assume, right? That's me assuming again.
No, you're good. Yeah, I
But
went
to teach 0 to 3, I would assume you'd have to have some sort of an education, right?
Right.
To teach any children.
right, exactly.
You can't just be a guy off the street, be like, I'll take care of your kids.
Right, for sure. Well, when I got married so young, I went to college for a little bit, but it wasn't like I didn't get a degree. So it was
Okay.
after I went back. We lived in Colorado, where my husband is from. I started in 2008 in the spring semester. I took like 3 classes,
Okay.
college classes, because I was already in childcare there and related to childcare, the first
Right.
initial early childhood classes. And then moved here. Of course, everything happened, and I went back to college in 2014.
Okay.
And I graduated in December of 18 with my associate's degree.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
I mean, you went to college for a little bit and then had a family and then went back. That's really awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Thank
and you still now he's 18, right? Your youngest
Yeah.
is 18, so You graduated back in 2018?
Yeah.
So he
December
was,
18.
he's what, 15?
It was about 16.
16, yeah. You still have a child or a teenager. A teenager in the house.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's
Yes,
gotta be difficult doing school and having a teenager in the house, but
Yeah.
you did it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you,
Thank you.
you still pushed yourself. Like you had to raise a kid, but
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was times it was difficult because you're still working full time, but you're going part time. I was obviously going part time because I'm working
Right.
full time, but there was times it's hard because you gotta still get the stuff done. Plus, you still have to be up in
be
the
up
morning
and
early to
morning.
go to work.
Right,
Yeah. So-
right. That I've asked you all these questions already. Or they've worked into everything. And I'm holding on to this last question because that's for you to promote and everything. So I guess I'll get to the question I asked you a few days ago to sit on.
Right.
During the pandemic and everything that's going on, having a new president, where do you keep your faith? How do you keep your faith? The main thing.
Well, no, sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. Dean, how do you keep your faith?
I got a wife.
That's actually that's good faith there. It's good.
I just keep my faith by just everything I've gone through in my life. I know I can trust in God to keep me through it, and because of all the trials that I've been in, it's gotten me closer to God.
So instead of running away after
Right.
the depression in school and your brother passing away, you actually grew closer to God.
Yeah, exactly. I actually became to have a relationship with God instead of just being, oh, I'm saved. Go to church once a week. Da da da.
So
Do
instead
what the world does. but
instead of
still go
act-
to church.
Instead of acting like a Christian atheist, in the words of
Yeah.
Craig Rochelle, pastor of Life Church, he has a book called Christian Atheist. I would probably call myself a Christian atheist because I will rarely go to church here and there. Like, I'll say I believe in God here and there, or, say I believe in a higher power, right? But I don't act like I do.
Right.
Like, I don't go out of my way to pray to a higher up or anything. I just go through life as is. And, like, when Christmas comes, I'll go to church with my family or whatnot. But other than that, I usually, like Easter, those big events for church, I'll go to. But other than that, I don't really acknowledge that there's a higher up. I just kind of let the higher ups do their thing,
Right.
and I'll keep my head down and just hope for the best. But yeah, that's
yeah, and I could see where you're coming from too, definitely, because it's just with me, I guess, because of all the trials I've had, and I know he's doing that because I'm being tried by fire in order to help my writing. Because actually, what's happened, like with Scott, I use that to help other people be in similar situations.
So instead of thinking of yourself, you're also thinking of there's been people that have been in this situation as well.
Yeah, exactly. So when I did my writing about Scott, it was a testimony initially because the editor wanted testimonies, but then she said, I'll accept it as testimony, but then she said, I can take it as nonfiction, and I thought, it would be nonfiction.
No,
Yeah.
nonfiction is real, and fiction is not real, right?
Right.
Okay. I get those confused. That's why I failed English in high school.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So.
Actually, no, that was one of my better subjects. I failed math like 4 or 5 times. I had math with you once, and I dropped out of that class because I was going to fail it. So
Math. Well, I didn't. I of course did well in English, of course. But
yeah,
math.
math is not a strong suit for me.
Math was not mine either. So.
No,
I know for sure.
I was never good at that. So just to grab my phone, you sent me 5 different stories. Is that everything you have, or do you have more already, or?
Well, I have. Those are the ones. Let's see.
You have my best friend and hero, From the
Right.
Depths, Cry to the Lord, Music of the Heart, and A Whisper Yet Sounding.
Right. The last 3 I think was the poems.
Okay, those are poems.
One, Cry to the Lord, has already been published on Lost Pen magazine,
Okay.
and that was online.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and that was published in the Spotlight blog, and It would have been in December. It should be in December. I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, you can go to Lost Pen Magazine, look it up online,
And then My Best Friend and Hero, it looks like, or is it from the, no,
From the Depths.
From the
was,
Depths and My Best Friend's Hero, looks like it was nonfiction selection of Heart of Flesh Literary
yes.
Magazine?
Yeah, that was, well, the From the Depths is in the Heart of Flesh Literary Magazine,
Okay.
and that was in November, and in their issue then.
Okay.
And it was just From the Depths. That's the shorter version. The longer version is I added
okay.
more to it because I knew I wanted to add more detail personally, because I think that helps show the story. I just didn't know if with Heart of Flesh, there's a certain word count they would take. So for testimony, nonfiction, fiction.
No, when you mean testimony, like from other people or from
Well, no,
you
it's
yourself?
Personal testimony, so it's from myself.
Okay, now your editor said she wanted testimonies.
Well, she was looking for testimonies, and also
Was she not looking for
fiction,
your?
nonfiction.
Was she not looking for your testimony? Was she looking for other?
Well, anyone's testimony, and
Okay.
then you could send it in.
Well,
know.
just what you said. She said this isn't really a testimony.
No, she said it. Well, she said what she came back and said is when she emailed me to accept that, she was telling me she was accepting that story. She
Okay.
initially said she would have it for her testimony section of the magazine, but then she
Gotcha.
came back just a little bit later. In fact, just that.
So she
Yeah.
originally planned on putting it in the testimony section of the magazine or
Right,
the
Heart of Flesh.
okay,
Yeah.
and instead it made it nonfiction.
Yeah, and she put it. Then she decided, oh, I'm gonna, it actually will work well, is what she was saying, and put it in the nonfiction section of the November issue.
Okay.
So if it was gonna be a testimony, it would have.
So
been
this
in
last
the-
November?
Yes, this last November.
Wow!
correct. So,
Congratulations.
yeah,
That's
thank
awesome.
you. So yes, and then so that was my, it's a testimony plus it's obviously nonfiction.
So which one's better for a writer, testimony or nonfiction, like writing wise? Let me rephrase that.
Well,
Which one's easier to write,
which one's easier to
testimony
write?
or nonfiction?
Probably testimony.
Because that's first person kind of, right?
I would think it's easier to write. Yes.
Because
I
you're
mean,
telling your description of it,
right,
or
right. 'Cause
someone's
it's your
description, right, yeah.
events, Exactly.
so you tell it from your point of view. That's what a testimony is, and
Yeah.
nonfiction can come from different point of views. Okay,
Yeah, nonfiction could be just anything.
got you.
pretty much.
Okay,
It's
so yeah,
just-
testimony probably would be what a writer prefers, so they can
Yeah,
stay with one part of this or one side of the story or whatnot.
Yeah, it would be easier, especially geared toward the Christianity. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yep.
exactly.
I didn't think about that. Like I look at John Grisham and James Patterson books, and they're nonfiction. They're not going to be testimonial, or well, they're fiction. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
can you make fiction into a testimony? Like, or is that just is that just like? Am I going into like how to write like first person writing or third person? Is that
Right.
more? Is that
Right.
more?
Yeah, fictional is more third person, but I mean, it can be. I mean, you can put a lot of what you've gone through into it, like
Okay.
like even stories that I've written. A little bit stories that aren't published yet are from my life, but you just put it into the story. So,
Okay.
but
I
yeah, for sure.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I would assume you could somewhat put some type of testimony into
Yeah.
fiction type of books, but
yeah, you can.
no one would really know at the same time because it's a fiction book that it's a testimony. So
Right.
that's very interesting. So you want to write a novel, and it's gonna be Christian oriented. Do you know what? Have you planned anything out for a novel? Like is it gonna be like Frodo throwing the Lord,
Right.
or
Right. I've actually had it planned since we lived in Cortez, Colorado. So
okay.
it's been planned for a while.
So you've got
It's
the
kinda-
gears already going and everything.
Yeah, I've had ideas. I just that takes definitely time, but
Yeah, I mean some books take years. Like I don't think is it George R.R. Martin that writes Game of Thrones?
yeah.
I don't think he's even finished the last book yet. and like the series of the TV show is over. So I don't think he has even finished it.
Yeah.
He's been working on it for like 2-3 years now.
Oh wow.
And but that's tricky when it comes to that kind of Middle Earth kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be Middle Earth. I mean, there's high fantasy.
Ooh,
And
we're gonna
then
go into
there's-
subjects. I didn't know there's different. Like, so what's
Yeah,
Middle
I
Earth
don't
is more
know.
like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is more high fantasy, but then there can be fantasy where it's, I don't remember the exact name for it, but it's like, it's still on Earth. But
Okay.
you use like fictional
Locations.
fantasy people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but then there's high fantasy, which is like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, 100% different planet,
But
basically.
see, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that's more of the, not
That
the
cro-
high
that-
fantasy.
Well,
I mean,
it
it's-
crosses
It
over
does. It has
because
high
Narnia
fantasy and
isn't
the-
part of the Great Britain. Like, it takes place if you read the books, it takes place
Right,
in Great Britain during World War II when London is being bombed by Hitler.
right.
And that's why the children move out to that big mansion or
Yeah.
castle or whatever. I remember the movie more than the books. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
but
no, you're good.
and then Lucy finds the wardrobe and walks in it. And Narnia is a completely
Yeah, that's
different
like
location.
high fantasy, but then it's when they're back at home, obviously that's the reality. But
Right.
yeah.
which is it's a very creative idea too. I would never think of let's go in that closet, let's see what's in there. Like
Yeah, exactly.
who would ever think of just going like
Right.
I would never. I would have been Lucy and just hidden there, but no, she wanted to go deeper in there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Does your mind work like C.S. Lewis or any of those novelists? Like, do that? Like, do you have those kind of ideas of like maybe a talking lion
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff?
I definitely the symbolic and symbolism, and I
Oh,
deal in that, and I'm a very deep thinker. I am a very deep thinker.
okay.
So
So, when you said symbolic, what is Aslan's symbol from Narnia?
Aslan is a symbol of Jesus Christ.
Sacrifice,
Yeah.
because he
Mhm.
did give up his life to the witch. Wow,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in forever, but you're
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Holy cow, he did
Exactly.
die, and then
Yeah,
he came
exactly.
back.
So-
Wow. Okay.
So that's why it's really cool. I've also read the books, of course. 'cause
I've
I'm a
read the
big
books,
C.S.
but
Lewis
it's been a
fan.
long time since I've
Yeah,
read the books.
It has been a while for me too. Of course, I read them when I was a teenager. So, but yeah,
I read them when I was a teenager too, like in high school, junior high. That's when I read
Yeah.
them. They were pretty popular back then, or everyone was reading those. So that's interesting. So I didn't even see that. That is Jesus Christ. Wow.
yeah, exactly.
And
So-
is C.S. Lewis, is he a religious writer, or is he just, did he do that on purpose, you think, or?
Yes, he's a Christian. as
He
a
is?
matter of
Okay,
fact.
okay. So he did initially turn Narnia, or basically Aslan, into the Chosen One.
Yeah, exactly. He's also written a smaller book called The Screw Tape Letters, and that's interesting, very interesting book. It's letters that the devil writes to his underdevil about a person they're trying to
Seduce or
yeah,
take.
exactly.
Okay.
Seduce, right. And that's very, very very interesting book.
What was the name of that
The
book?
Screw Tape Letters.
I'm going to add that to my notes. That sounds interesting. The screw what?
Screw Tape Letters.
Screw tape letters, sorry. C.S. Lewis. And that's just notes from the
Well-
devil to.
Well, it's letters, and I love the mind of C.S. Lewis. Very deep thinker. He writes. They're each a letter, and they're trying to seduce a man. And of course, this is written, in the time of C.S. Lewis, so it's like in the 20s, 30s. I don't
Right,
remember
yeah.
exactly, but it's in that era.
So
it's in Great Britain.
he's not woke like
Right,
today.
it's
I
not
got you.
like, yeah, exactly. And
I got
it's
you.
a devil writing to his underling,
Mhm.
another devil, and I don't remember the names of them.
But the concept is he's writing,
Yeah.
and is he asking questions or suggestions on how
he's
to?
telling exactly.
Okay.
He's telling them what is a good way to do it, seducing. It's very
Very.
fantastic.
Okay.
book. Yeah, it's you ever read it? That's
It's
crazy.
on my list now.
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting. I'm intrigued by that because everyone gives an example. What would God say or what would God do? But no one says what would Satan do or
Right,
say.
right.
And I'm not saying listen to Satan or, all
Right.
that, but it's just very interesting to hear what Satan would say in the first place. Like there's I can't remember the TV show, but there's a TV show that Satan it might be Lucifer is this
Yeah.
TV show, but Lucifer, he comes as a earthling or our form,
Right.
and like he's there to cause mischief and destruction and seduce and basically take over Earth. But he meets a woman that's a cop, and he basically becomes her crime fighting partner,
Yeah.
which is very interesting. Like
Right.
Lucifer is supposed to be bad, but he's taken down these bad people,
right.
which is a very interesting concept in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think C.S. Lewis' idea with this is very good. I
Yeah.
want to read that. So
Yeah, it is because it initially starts with a man that's not a Christian, and it by the details of it tells what he's going on in his life. Eventually, he meets a young lady who is a Christian, and then it shows through the letters her influence on him, and at the very end, he does become a Christian, and of course, then that devil's put to task, and not
Interesting.
such a good way. at the very end of the
Interesting.
book.
Oh.
So yeah,
Gotta read it.
Yeah, definitely gotta go read it. Now, do you plan on writing any versions of that? So you said you're writing Christian books.
Right.
Would you ever consider writing a book kind of like from the perspective of maybe a satanic person?
Oh, from that perspective, I never thought that.
It's just an idea. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers,
No,
but
you're good.
you mentioned
never-
C.S.
I
Lewis
never thought of that, but yeah, that is interesting because, yeah, very interesting.
because you could take that whole nother route too, as well. Like you could, you could do one story with your Christian and then kind of almost flip it to
Right.
the Satan side. So I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's true because that's how C.S. Lewis showed how C.S. Lewis was showing, how great God is and his influence
right.
through the letters of the devil. It was actually, it's like a backhanded compliment, but it's just that's how it happened. So, but yeah, that would be. I never thought about what you
it'd be a
said.
challenge, but it'd be a challenge I think you could probably do.
Yeah.
You seem like you have a very creative mind with the stories I've read and the poems, and I
Right.
mean, the son you raised, he's a very interesting character.
Yes.
Best out of the three.
Out of the three, are you sure? He's the favorite? No, I'm just kidding.
That's what he says.
That's
I-
what he
usually-
says, good enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's Malcolm in the middle right there, right?
Yeah, he is the villain.
Welcome to the middle.
Right.
So, you got married very young.
Yes.
How old exactly
I
did you
was
get married?
20.
And how'd you meet your husband?
I met him. I actually went to
Because you mentioned he's from Colorado, so that's just the only.
We met actually at a Bible college in LaGrange, Wyoming. He's from Colorado. Went up there to Bible college, and so did I. So initially, because of what happened in my high school years, my parents were like, pretty much everyone, of course, from here they go to OSU, and I was from
Go to
yeah,
OSU, OU,
Yeah, exactly,
right.
exactly, and that's how it was. But they knew, I wouldn't do well, and I knew I would do in such a big environment in the OSU, and I was like,
Right.
and I had to my best friend was going to go there,
To the Bible,
Bible
Okay,
college,
okay.
yeah, Frontier School of the Bible,
and that's in
And-
Wyoming.
yes,
Okay.
LaGrange, Wyoming, and she was going there, and she talked to me, and so I knew it's small college. She's going there, and I know, my best friend, I know her, so that's what made me decide to
Go there,
go there. So
and then you met Bruce.
yeah, and then
How'd you meet Bruce? Did you have classes, or did you
Yeah.
meet him you had classes together?
well, we had we had classes together, plus just meeting them just around, and
Was it like that?
well,
Or-
I think for him it was.
For him, it was you were.
He was like-
I'm not sure about this guy.
He was like,
Dean, how many times have you heard this story?
I don't know. I
Oh,
heard it actually.
there you go.
Once or twice or so.
Maybe a little bit, but yeah, he was like, he saw me. He was like, oh,
He was pretty
beautiful,
persistent.
beautiful lady. I don't know if I get together with her, and
Yeah.
and I was like, well, well, for me, it wasn't just instant
Right.
connection, but it was getting to know the person, but yeah, then once you got to know them and started dating for a few months, we knew we're the ones for each other. So
That's That's in a few months.
I don't know.
Takes me way longer.
I don't know. Was it?
I'm a very enclosed person, though. I can't talk.
Yeah, for Dean, it was very short.
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations on getting married, by the way. You have kids, too. Not yours, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, they're your kids, no matter what. You stepped up. Congrats, man. That's awesome. That's really cool. And now you're a...
Yep, I'm a grandmother.
I didn't want to say it. I don't know how women... Like, my stepmother, she doesn't like being called grandma. She goes by, like, mama or something,
Right.
mama. So I was trying to tread lightly there.
Right.
You
No,
know?
you're good. Well, they decided the kids actually, Natalie, the youngest, she decided on Nana and Papa Bruce.
There you
So
go.
I'm Nana. So it didn't really matter to us. I don't think to Bruce either. It didn't matter to me what name, but that's the name they chose for us. So
Oh, there you go.
that works.
Dean, are you going to have more kids?
Probably not.
All right. You're honest.
How old are the kids?
Yeah, how old are they?
9. No, yeah.
You're a terrible stepfather. Jesus.
9 and 5.
Yeah, I almost.
We're gonna
said
go with
4
that?
earlier, but I'm not used to her turning 5, but she just turned 5 in
I'll be
December.
lucky if I can
Wow.
remember my own
Yeah.
Your own name?
age.
Oh, how old are you, Dean?
25, she said it.
Yeah, there you go. I was waiting for that.
That's
He just
right.
writes it down. Oh, that's what.
That's right.
So every morning you write what Dean needs to do because he forgets.
Pretty
Like, Dean, check every engine.
Before I got married, that's what.
Oh, that's what the wife is for now. The
Yeah,
wife
that's
picks the
right.
clothes out. It's like,
Figures
you
it
look
out.
really good today. Yeah, I got you. Okay. That's what wives are for. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's to replace our mothers.
Right.
I hope you don't treat your wife like your mother.
I treat her good.
Okay, well, okay. I'm thinking about me. I leave my clothes everywhere. I'm a POS. So,
Oh.
I'm not a good person.
Yeah.
No, I love my mother. I try to help as much as possible, but
Yeah.
things are things. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like social platforms to promote, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like to help you
Right.
get your name out or whatnot?
Right. That's actually what I'm working on getting. I've looked at WordPress, doing some research on that. I want to eventually probably get on that.
What is WordPress? Is that for authors or?
Yeah. I mean, it's evidently, I've done a little research. It's free, but you have to pay the host. The
Okay.
host, there's different hosts that you could pay. But
Interesting.
it's kind of more for blogging, for writing.
Okay.
It looks like it's more geared for what I would
Want to
I
do?
would want than any other thing. Probably, yeah. And then, I've looked at Facebook. I'm just not sure. It's kind of more
Facebook's a complicated
business.
place right
I
now.
don't know.
So
Mine's not necessarily business.
Business?
I mean, eventually.
if anything, I'd suggest like an Instagram. Just like whenever you publish something, like a book or whatnot, you can take a picture of it and just post it and be like, "This is me. This is my work and whatnot." But
Right.
other than that, like Twitter's falling off, or I'd suggest that because Twitter, millions of those users will follow you or whatnot. I have 2 followers right now. Woo woo.
there you
No,
go.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, just any kind of platforms would help. With expanding your books and
Yeah, for
just
sure.
anything you want to promote. Hence, the podcast is also if you have more books or anything else that comes out, contact me and we'll put you back on and we'll promote those. That's
Okay.
the whole idea around this podcast is my comedian buddies, if they have a show, and we have time to get them on before their show, I bring them on and they can promote their show. If you have a book that's going to come out, we do a week before usually,
Okay.
try because we don't
Okay.
want to do months ahead.
Right,
Then
right.
people are like, when's that book going to come out? But if it's
Yeah.
like a few days or a week ahead of the release date, I'd have you come on and we do, promote that and help you sell or
Probably aim at it 2 weeks
Okay, cool.
prior.
2 week-
There's a 1
2
week
weeks.
editing. Or
yeah,
Oh,
2 weeks.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I didn't think about the editing part. Thank you, Malachi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I keep forgetting I have to edit things.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
And Dean,
So,
you have anything to promote other than being a mechanic?
not yet.
Okay.
Starting a woodworking business.
Are you really?
Yeah, with my brother and his roommate.
Oh, his younger brother?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of woodwork?
Building tables and
Okay.
coffee tables. And
Smile to the camera. You look good.
different types of like wood furniture.
Okay. So not like dollhouses or whatnot, but like actual furniture.
If you want a dollhouse.
I don't want a dollhouse. Can you build a Millennium Falcon? I'll pay for a Millennium Falcon.
Maybe.
Or like, or no, life size.
You want a life size?
Yeah, in my backyard.
Oh,
You
wow.
got a couple grand to spend.
You didn't say it was gonna be a couple grand. Let's reverse this. I want something that can sit on the table. Then let's go. Let's get a Star Destroyer, all that good stuff. But yeah, nah, I'm good. Let's just do, yeah, little miniature.
Yeah.
When I heard grand, I can't do grand.
Little keychain.
I could do a keychain. Yeah, that's fine.
There you
That'd be
go.
all right. I'll be all right with
There
that.
you go. Yeah, they're trying to follow their dream too.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Everyone has a dream, so
Yeah, just getting started right now.
I mean,
Just getting everything
it's a start.
donaming and
well, once you get up and going and you get pictures, come on,
Cool.
we'll promote you. So
There you
absolutely.
go. Yeah.
I'm always trying to promote people. I'm always trying to get more content episodes out. So like, if you guys have it, just contact me and I'll contact him and be like, hey, we got people. Let's do this.
Okay. Cool.
You know, absolutely. Lynn, I think where are we? Where are we at?
You're at 110. If you want to say bye.
We're about there. Unless you have anything else. I'm complete. Like that was my last question. Do you have any social platforms or books to promote?
Okay. No, I mean that's something that they've asked me. Like when I getting my work published, I want to definitely get on social media.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I do have my own email address now
okay.
for that, just for my writing. So I do
Okay.
have that now.
Um,
So
should we advertise that? I don't know if you want everyone to email you about books. So probably not. No. Okay. Yeah. That's not.
But I do
That's why.
have-
That's why I asked her.
have
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. So other authors.
That email address and create social medias, and you start gaining a fan
That's
base.
true.
That's technically what it is. Like a fan
Okay.
base will go and follow you, and you might like have just random thoughts of words, and you might just publish that to Instagram, not meaning it to go into a book, or you post it to Twitter, quote it in your name or whatever. So a way to reach out to this fan base and create a almost like a networking opportunity, because as you're setting those things out there for people, they might like it and share it to their family members, and they'll find that when you finish a book and you publish it, then that amount of followers will be able to go and immediately know that you did that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very, very cool. It helps a lot with everything.
Yeah.
So
Definitely want to do that. But yeah, definitely want to get. Yeah,
Yeah.
my own social
I
media.
can, yeah, absolutely. I understand.
It takes some money, and we're trying to,
Yeah.
set it
It's
up,
just
but-
starting up, just like us.
Yeah.
We're starting up too. So like, it takes
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah,
absolutely,
I'll get it.
Lynn,
So.
you've done it. You survived the HeleyCast.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Yay.
Guys, thank you for listening.
Yes.
I hope you come back, Lynn. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We're good. Dope. And then can I grab a picture with you so I can?